Some parents don't sit with problems very long. They move fast, they step in quickly. They like to solve things before anyone even finishes explaining what is wrong. And most of the time, it gets praised. Gosh, you're so helpful. You're so proactive. Man, you're on it. But most people don't actually stop to ask what that constant fixing is actually protecting. See, these things aren't just normal. These are things that you learned. And that's the uncomfortable part to all of this, because the behaviors you brush off as being responsible, jumping in, smoothing things out, offering solutions before emotions settle. See, you didn't invent them. Everything we're talking about was learned. And it was learned because somewhere along the way, you picked up the message that sitting in discomfort didn't feel very good. And that problems needed to be handled immediately. Stat, no feeling them. Because emotions were something to manage, not something that you actually would feel. So your body learned to move. It fixed it. It solved it. It was all about making it better so you felt better. And now we see these same exact reflexes showing up in your parenting. You offer answers before your child even finishes talking. You rush towards solution when they're upset, or you feel uneasy when there is nothing that you can do. And then you probably tell yourself, well, I'm just trying to help. I'm just helpful. But here's what's actually happening. Your child is learning what happens when emotions surface in your home. See, they notice how quickly feelings turn into action to fix, how sadness becomes now advice, how frustration gets redirected into, let's fix this. And to them, this isn't helpfulness, okay? It's just pure instruction. Because then what happens is that they learn that feelings don't get space. They learn that being upset, it needs to be fixed. And then they learn that connection comes after resolution, not before. So they adapt. And they either stop bringing you the hard stuff or they rush to fix themselves before you can do it for them. And it's not because you told them to. It's because they're absorbing the same pattern you once needed. And I want to be clear about something. This doesn't make you a terrible parent. This, again, is just an old pattern. It's an old coping pattern, just doing its job really well. See, it helped you survive a time when emotions didn't get patience and problems didn't necessarily get understanding. But here you are now with this information. And if it goes unexamined, it will just keep moving forward. Because what happens is your child ends up believing that your feelings always need a solution, not just presence. Being upset is super inconvenient. I should handle things quickly so no one worries about me. Have you ever heard when we say stuff like, I don't have time for this? It's rushing through that process. And then here's the part that most people don't tell you. You as the parent can't teach your child emotional safety while rushing past emotion. You can't raise a child who trusts their feelings, and in those feelings, they always need to be fixed. But anything that was learned in survival can always be relearned in safety. And so when you pause, instead of just trying to solve all the time, and when you stay instead of stepping in, And then when you let your feelings exist without trying to correct it, your child learns something completely new and different. That emotions don't need to disappear to be okay. That connection doesn't require answers. And that being understood matters more than being fixed. That's how you change this family pattern. See, again, it's not by doing more and fixing more and being faster, but by choosing presence in the moment that used to make you move.